Welcome back to the Honda project, and yes, I'm not in the garage, I'm in the kitchen, and that's for good reason. We're going to be turning one of these into a headlight. This one, to be precise, using this. Yeah, no, not colour wrong, no, frosted glass, yeah. Let's see how that works out. Well, yes, not quite the desired effect, not what I had in mind. It appears that this stuff has a shelf life. Yes, it's been on the shelf for about 10 years, so I'll let it off this time, as long as it doesn't do it again. So it just kind of squirted out the can. Like it had a prostate problem. So, yeah, it's an interesting effect, not what I was going for. I think I shall try something different. And guess what? Yes, the family variety pack does not have the right bloody size. All in all, not the best start to this episode, I have to say. So I recorded this whole episode and I edited it and I played it back, and it's boring. So there's a lot of fast forwarding going on, so do keep up. Yes, a bit of time lapse. Let's go. Completely different. I don't even need the nut. I screwed the hole in there, or rather I drilled the hole in there, at slightly smaller than the Allen bolt, so it kind of holds itself in already, thanks to that washer that we produced, without the nut, but it's extra security. As we know, we've got space, so yeah, that works at least. Take two. I think I should have gone with my first idea.
Yes, my first idea was just to use some bloody white paint and just spray it in there, kind of gently. Well, we still have some kind of candle effect. See what that looks like with the lights in there.
Just in case you have no idea what I'm talking about, what I mean is that this bit is bigger than that hole, but we're going to have to make that hole the same size, big enough to allow the whole plug through. It will at least all be secure within the housing, so it's not a problem. And the washer itself, with its little modification for the cable slot, a little groove in here somewhere, will keep it all nice and tight. Unless, of course, I abandon the idea of the nut altogether and rely on the thread itself just to keep it in place. In which case, of course, at this point, I could put the face on, then I just screw into that hole. I'm not sure that I have enough confidence in that.
Well, it's kind of the effect I'm going for, except, as you can see, when you get closer up, that's not the case. But the idea is to mount, actually, the strip at the back of the light, so you don't see the highlights. I think it's going to be light enough, honestly. So maybe it's just a crap idea all around.
It's okay to have crap ideas. I've had a few. Either way, if I'm going to pursue this idea, it won't be with this. Only because it's out of date. It's a great product.
Yeah, like, it's still patchy, because I haven't done any white, but that's kind of more of the effect I wanted, was just a white, opaque light.
Like the running lights on the FJ. Yeah, these ones. What would be funky is a kind of a blue tint in there to match the bike. Yes, that would be really cool. Except that the local constabulary would not approve of that, despite other cars driving around with blue lights. When I did this to the Triumph, put some Perspex blue protectors on the front of the headlights, I got pulled over for, what was it? Trying to, yes, that was it. Trying to impersonate a police officer, because all police officers ride around on CafeRacers. Bloody ridiculous. Anyway, didn't have any white, so I used that instead. A painting cocktail this is turning out to be. So, let's work out what we're going to do with this. So, we're enlarging that hole, and yes, it's one of my granddad's old tools. Fits perfectly now. So, we have a little notch in our washer to allow the cable through. There it is, mounted. And if we want to go nuts, see, I'm nuts already, but I mean, you know what I mean, if we want to put the nut on there, we can. And the good news is we've got plenty of cable to pull it under the tank back to where all the electrics are going to be, including our USB plug-in, whatever that ends up looking like. But there we go. And at this point, I'm wondering if I even need to do that. Is there something magical that goes on in this connection, or is it literally just a plug? In which case I could chop the wire and tap it straight into a positive and an earth, which is, I don't know, is that what's inside there? I should take one apart, shouldn't I? Anyway, as you can see, I got fed up with buying the wrong size bullets and used some cut-offs that I'd saved earlier. So yes, it's another join, but it's one less, or two less actually than they were originally. So these are all ready to go. These guys will tuck in here, I think. I need to look at what's behind there when I re-gasket the cover. We've got a lot of extra wire, which is good, except we've got to feed it up through the frame and then through this sheath protective, whatever, to guard it from that there chain. Yes, that's their chain. Don't want that chopping it all up to pieces. So we've cut out all the crap in between, all the multiple joins, and we are left with the three yellows and one green, which he's got splitting off into two, so I'm leaving that there for the moment. And then the now turquoise blue to the starter solenoid, or at least it's the power back to the Reginald the rectifier from the solenoid. Reginald the rectifier is one of the lesser known knights of the round table, by the way. Well, I was worried with my meltage unions that the sheath wouldn't quite fit over. But it does, thankfully, having pulled it all through. So that's good. I'm quite sure about the other end of it, but we'll see. This end, that is, there's a lot of extra sheathage going on there. Yes. Well, we have a variety of USB devices turned up today. This one's for the FJ, because that fits in one of the blank switch sockets. And this was what I was going to go for the bike. It's kind of big, though. And this was what I bought for my wife, for the Maserati, and that's kind of small. And if I can take it apart and get to the terminals in here, then that might work better than that. Yeah, considerable size difference, as you can see. Anyway, back to this, plan B, larger sheathing to accommodate all the joins and plugs and what have you, and then smaller sheathing into the frame there. There is a gap, and at that point the chain shouldn't be bouncing up and down too much, so maybe we're good. Well, at this point I'm going to leave it like that, not tie wrap anything at all, because it depends what's going on behind here. So until I put that cover back on properly and explore behind it, I shall just leave it be. You never know, I might come up with some other crazy idea in the meantime. Like fitting a USB device to a 1978 Honda. What was I thinking? Well, as you saw from my Googling, I might not need these at all in reality. Because it turns out that there is a positive and a negative within the four cables within a USB cable. So I might just tear it apart, wire it straight in. Anyway, there's that nutted down, and the washer modified slightly so that this moves in and out easier. It was a bit tight, it was chafing. We have evidence of chafing there. Yeah. Oh, I know, we're chopping about a bit, aren't we? So, issue number 437 of Unseen Circumstances is that is as far back as that will go in it, and I hope that won't exclude the front from actually clamping down. I'm guessing it's the tail end of the enlarged connector butting up against the washer at this point. I don't know. Well, again, it's interesting, but it's probably not good enough for a running light. More of a lava lamp, I think. Yes, I know, it's a 1970s bike. That's very appropriate, but I don't think so. So, just another crap idea. But you got to try these things, right? Yes, as suspected, protrusion involved, i.e. this end of the plug is not coming out the back of the washer far enough, so you need to make a bigger hole. Shame. Yeah, well, I think it'll look good though. Worth all the effort. And yes, we are abandoning the pepper pot idea, but not the strip. Obviously, we're not just going to stick it here. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? I need to come up with some device to put it in. And still contemplating maybe 2 or 3 even of these somehow mounted in a panel using the bolt hole that we got there and these bits. So yeah, that's a possibility. Something like that. So yeah, what we need to do is make this adaptive hole bigger so that it will slide down another, I don't know, 5mm to about there. So hopefully we can still leave it small enough not to allow the whole thing to slip through. Not that it'll matter because it'll be plugged in. Grinding time. That worked. Cool. Well, let's be thankful for small victories and call it a day at this point, I think. Monkey inspection. So, with all this entanglement and disinterest from the monkey, I think we'll call this episode over. Thanks for watching as usual, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Give it a thumbs up and, of course, encourage others to watch my lunacy.